path to peace in the Middle East is the so-called two-state solution, that there should be a state of Palestine as a member state of the United Nations, living alongside the state of Israel, with both states having their security. And this two-state solution is the only way to peace, because there are two peoples that have been essentially fighting over the same land for many decades. So why doesn't it happen? It doesn't happen mainly because Israel rejects having a state of Palestine next door, and the UN Security Council voted in April overwhelmingly in favor of Palestine as a UN member state. And then what did the United States do? It vetoed it. So the vote in the UN Security Council was 12 in favor, 1 veto, the US, and 2 abstentions, Switzerland and the UK. Now, this is again one country blocking peace, but the rest of the world is saying, come on, of course we know the answer. So this went from the UN Security Council to the UN General Assembly. And there was a vote in the UN General Assembly, should Palestine be a UN member state? And the vote was 142 in favor and 9 against. Who were the 9? The US, Israel, of course, some very small islands, and a few countries that for whatever reasons fell into the US camp on this. But overwhelming world support. And the UN General Assembly said, well, we need a conference to put this into effect now. The world is united. The UN is the right venue, and the veto of the United States needs to be overcome by making clear that the whole world is on side except for Israel, which opposes absolutely unjustly, and the United States, which has isolated itself diplomatically by this maneuver. In May, the Arab League countries met in Bahrain and had a very good declaration, the Bahrain Declaration, which said, we're ready for peace, we're ready for normalization with Israel, but it must be based on the two-state solution. And this is a peace offering. This is the way to peace. And at the end of that meeting, the King of Bahrain went first to Moscow to discuss this with President Putin. And then he came with the Arab delegation that met with President Xi in Beijing. And the King of Bahrain, carrying the Bahrain Declaration, said, here is the path. So my recommendation is that China strongly support a UN General Assembly-backed global conference so that the world opinion is very clear, so that no country has a veto against world opinion, so that it can become clear to everybody that blocking the two-state solution is actually blocking peace. It's not just blocking a state of Palestine, it's blocking the real solution. And in this area, China will, of course, be on the side of the vast, vast proportion of humanity, on the side of the Arab countries, the side of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the side of the non-aligned movement countries, the side of the G77 countries. The US will be diplomatically isolated, but it deserves to be if it's on the wrong side of global opinion. And this is what we need. We need peaceful ways to show that rational, decent thinking leads to a particular solution. We don't need wars for this. We don't need more violence for this. We need to show that the world is united for peace, and that that's not even against Israel. That's for Israel's security. But Israel cannot continue to rule over millions of Palestinian people. That's not acceptable. That's not a way to peace.
朋友都知道我是很挑剔的，防晒乳我选 Kiss 皇家呵护抗光清爽高防晒凝露， 因为它有媲美蓝光神盾的乍早植萃，保护我在阳光下延缓肌肤老化，维持青春弹力。可以防御工作环境里的3C 商品，各种光源对肌肤的伤害，擦起来清爽不黏腻。我特别喜欢它做到海洋友善，365天，天天抗光抗老化，是我的保养日常。你呢？呵护您，呵护全家人，专属你的 KS Royal Care 抗光清爽高防晒凝露。